Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new around here, welcome. So today's video is going to be a little different because I am doing makeup on somebody else. So this is my friend Maria, and we have been friends for a very long time. I think since 2009 or something like that. And it's been a tradition that pretty much every year, almost every year, I've been doing her makeup for her birthday. So on March 19th, it was her birthday, so she's going out today to celebrate with a few friends. So I'm doing her makeup, and I decided why not record it, since now I have a YouTube channel. And funny story, actually like 2 or 3 years ago, I did her makeup for a video because that's when I was going to start YouTube, but I had a really bad camera. The video was awful and it was just horrible, so I just gave up on it. I gave up on the idea of YouTube. I gave up on plans of making YouTube and making videos. And a funny story, here we are 3 years later making YouTube videos. So this is a look I did on her today, and if you want to see how I did this look, just keep on watching. So I'm going to start by priming her eyes with my MAC paint pot in the color Painterly, as always, because as you guys know, it is my favorite eye primer. And then I'm setting that primer with the color Beaches and Cream from Makeup Geek, and all the shadows I will be using today are all from Makeup Geek. Then I'm taking the color Frappe and I'm applying that all over her upper crease to create the illusion that she has a bigger eyelid, and I'm applying that in a windshield wiper motion. And on her outer corners, I'm just creating kind of like a V shape to give her more of a cat eye effect. Now I'm taking the color Unexpected and I'm applying that exactly where I applied Frappe, just more into the eye and lower on the crease. And I'm also starting to take that color all the way into the upper lash line just to start creating that smokiness. Now I'm taking the color Vintage and I'm pretty much repeating the same step that I took with Unexpected and Frappe, but again even lower and more into the inner part of the crease. I know that it may seem like I'm using a lot of colors and you may think that that's unnecessary, but that is how you're going to create the perfect smoky eye, is by taking a lot of colors, 4 to 5, maybe even 6 colors, and applying them from light to dark, and that's how you're going to create the perfect flawless smoky eye. Also by blending a lot. A whole lot of blending is what's going to help you create a flawless smoky eye. That's why I keep going back and forth now between the last 2 shades and the darker one, and I just go from dark to medium to light and from light to medium to dark, and that's what's gonna help you blend flawlessly. So here I started applying the color Drama Queen, which is a beautiful shimmery purple. But I was doing it with this MAC 239 brush and that was not working. I think this brush is not good for shimmery colors. So I just went back to the color Unexpected and I started blending out the rough edges. And then I take a small synthetic brush and I took once again the color Drama Queen and I wet it with my MAC Fix Plus, and that was giving me a much better result. And once again, I just go back to Unexpected and also to Vintage, and I just blend out the rough edges and make sure that everything looks nice and put together. Now I'm taking the color Corrupt, and with this very small brush, I'm applying that in the very outer corners of the eyes to give the eye an even more dramatic smoky effect. And once again, do I even have to repeat it? I'm just going back to the color Unexpected and I'm just blending out the rough edges. And because I've been blending so much, I do lose a little bit of that shimmery purple, so I'm just reapplying it to keep the intensity. Now moving on to the face, don't forget, right before you apply your primer and foundation, do not forget to wipe off any fallout. So now I'm just applying this MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base to prime her face. So using the same foundation brush that I applied the primer with, now I'm applying this MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation all over her face, and don't forget to blend down to your neck. And it looks a little dark and warm for her right now, but don't forget that your foundation has to match your neck, not your face. And now I'm using a damp beauty blender to blend out that foundation because, as I've mentioned before, this gives you the most beautiful and natural finish. So now I'm taking this Tarte Maracuja Creases Concealer, and I'll be using that not only to conceal but also to highlight the parts of her face that I want to bring forward. So I'll be applying that under her eyes, down the center of her forehead, and down the center of her nose, and also right under her contour is going to be. And speaking of, I am applying this cream contour product from Anastasia in the color Cinnamon to contour the parts of her face that I want to bring in. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender and start blending out all the cream products that I applied on her, starting with the light parts and then moving on to the dark parts because you don't want the light to look muddy. Alright, so now that I'm done with all the cream products and with all that blending, I'm going to start setting everything. So I'm starting by setting her under eye with this Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. Now I'm applying the color Shadow Play from my Kat Von D Light and Shade palette to create more definition on her face. And I'm taking my Laura Mercier translucent powder and applying that right under where her contour is, just to make it even more sharp and more defined. So now I'm just dusting off all that excess powder, and I'm also using the same Laura Mercier translucent powder to set the rest of her face. And I'm applying some blush on her cheeks, and this is Irreplaceable by Tarte, which is no longer available, but if you're looking for an alternative, you can just use anything that's kind of rosy and peachy at the same time. Here I went back to my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm applying the color Lyric in her under eye just to brighten everything even more. Okay, so now we're going back to the eyes just to finish them up, and I'm taking the color Frappe, and I'm just applying that in her lower lash line just to smoke out the eyes a little bit. And I'm also taking the color Unexpected and applying that right on her lash line just to smoke out the eyes even more, and also to tie up the whole eye makeup together. So now I'm taking the color Shimma and applying that in her inner corners to brighten up her eyes. And then I'm taking Champagne Pop by Becca and Jaclyn Hill, and I'm just highlighting her face. So moving on to her brows, I am using Anastasia dipbrow pomade in the color Medium Brown. And if you haven't seen my brow tutorial, I will just link that below so you can watch that. But for now, I'm just going to speed through this. And to finish off her brow, I'm just applying once again shimmer on her brow bone to make her brows appear more lifted. So I'm applying some of this IT Cosmetics Tightline mascara on her lower lashes to make them a bit more defined, but I'm not touching her upper lashes because the ones that she's wearing right now are pretty intense already. And finally, moving on to her lips, first of all, I'm applying this Milani lip treatment to prepare her lips. Then I'm applying this lipstick by MAC in the color Angel, which is a light pink with a frost finish, and I thought it would be really appropriate for the purple eye with a little bit of shimmer. And finally, I'm topping that off with this lip gloss from NYX in the color Sugar Pie to make her lips nice and glossy. And that brings us to the end of this look. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And I'm just gonna leave you here with this very editorial end to this video. Thank you again so much for watching.